I'm Fluketronic. Up now we're going to take a second look at this SWAM VariFlute app. I'll give you a link to the first look with the Warble 2 MIDI controller, but today we're going to be using the Clarii Mini controller from Reverb. So we're going to look at some special configuration items for the Mini, and then we will look at configuration inside VariFlute, and we'll take a deeper dive on some of the things inside VariFlute that we did not cover the first time. All right, so let's switch over to the iPad, and you're going to want a couple of things on the iPad. You're going to want the Clarii Mini app, and as well as the VariFlute. So I'm going to start by clicking into Clarii Mini, and I'm going to first of all connect to the Mini. Get the Mini turned on here. If you have not set up Bluetooth on your iPad itself, you'll have to do that in settings. Won't cover that today. Okay, so once you have the Mini connected into the Clarii Mini app, there's a lot of settings you can do. I won't go through all of these. There's a lot of configuration items that you might want to look at. I'm going to cover just a few things that are going to be particularly relevant to the VariFlute app. So the first thing is the OK key, and what that is on the back of the Mini, your octave controller is on the left thumb or top thumb. So you got your bass octave, you roll down to get octave down, roll up to get octave up, and then the setting here, you can tell the octave key to give you an additional octave. In this case, I'm going +2. You could also go +3, but that would seem to be a little weird. So I'm going to go with octave +2. And what that means is that I'm going to have a total of 4 octaves plus a little bit extra because the right-hand fingerings actually give you into an additional octave. So it's about 4.5 octaves or so. And we'll see why that's important to VariFlute in a little bit. Elevation. So elevation is this action. I'm going to set that to vibrato, and elevation low. I forget what that, I think that means I only have to raise it a little bit to get it to act. Roll is rolling left or right, and I'm going to assign that to pitch bend. Now the pitch bend range is not really relevant in this case, and I'll show you why when we get to VariFlute. The rest I'm not going to cover. You can pick your fingering mode, breath curve, all those other things. Let you explore that on your own. All right, so once we've got the Clarii set up, I'm going to ditch that and launch VariFlute. So inside VariFlute, first thing you're going to do is connect the MIDI input. So I'm going to click on Bluetooth MIDI. There is Jim Mini there. We'll connect that. And you see the check mark by Jim Mini Bluetooth. So now we are connected. The second thing you're going to want to do is pick the template, and there is a preset for Clarii Mini default. We're just going to pick that one. Okay, so now we should have some noise coming out of here. Turn up my volume so I can hear. So you can see the elevation is mapped to vibrato, and as I roll left and right, you get pitch bend. So that is your basic controls, and on the right hand side you can see CC2 or breath controls mapped to expression and main volume. I guess just expression and indirectly volume. Okay, so that's kind of it in terms of setup. Now, very odd setting here. in the MIDI mapping with pitch bend. I did not notice this with the warble. I have to look back and see if it was actually there, but if you notice, it says 12.1 and minus 12.1. That means your pitch bend is actually mapped to an octave plus another note, I think. I think that's, or maybe just a little bit above the octave. So you'll notice as I roll, the pitch really jumps up. Not down so much. I'm not sure if that's just because the Mini isn't spitting out that low value. But the octave up feels really odd to me. So to fix that, I'm going to go under the pitch panel here and turn this down. Try 2 to start, and then or even 1. Two seems a little better. I think that's giving you a semitone. I do find, oh, okay. So the sliders can be a little bit temperamental, but if you tap the number, you can punch the number in directly. And let's go back to main view. There we go. And I guess I could check that on my tuner if not, to make sure what's going on there. Yeah, it's kind of odd. So that's a flat E4, so you're not getting even a full semitone there. And you're not getting quite down the full semitone either. So you have to play around with that. And I'm not entirely sure what the parameters here are. So if I set it to 3, that's closer. Feels like it wants to be even a little bit higher than that, so I won't mess around anymore with that today. But so you may want to play around with the pitch bend controls there to get the range that you really want. Okay, now the other thing is with the octaves. So the octave in VariFlute is controlled by the pipe length here. So you can see as I'm moving this along the bottom, the note range is being affected. So I have the Clarii, I believe it was no octave offset. So if I just played the low C, but there it is, that's C3. So if I roll down, I should get C2. And there's C5 with that octave key, and then of course that's C5 at the bottom of the range. So if I go all fingers off, I should get C sharp 6, right? Yeah, so that is C sharp 6 with all fingers off. Right, and then you can also get up into the other half with the special right hand fingerings. can see there I'm getting out of range on the top end. So if I wanted those notes, I can move the pipe length a little bit to be able to get up there. There's my high F. There we go. And does that get the bottom of the range? Yes. So there's kind of, if I want to maximize all 4 octaves, I can do that with the pipe length parameter there. All right, so that is the important bits about the Mini. Now, looking at the VariFlute app itself, there's a lot we didn't play with the first time, and we won't get too deep into this today either, but just to point out that there's a lot of control here, and you can play with it as you're playing and use your other finger to move the sliders to get the effect. The dynamics, I think we touched on this one last time. If you want to get that, that's where that octave jump is coming from, is from that setting. And you can play with this to get your desired sensitivity. So I have to set it. I tend to find that not all that useful personally, but dynamic pitch, and what is that about? Not really sure what that is. Play modes we covered last time. Did not do the holes. Timbre, lots of controls on timbre. Again, just be careful with your pipe length because that's going to control your octave notes. Pitch we looked at, pitch bend, ooh, glide. That's, I don't know. Micro tuning, interesting. Yeah, I'm not going to mess with this. I did not know this was in here. So you have a lot of temperament scales. Maybe we'll look at that again next time, but or another time. So if you want different temperaments and stuff, a lot to explore there. Whoops, advanced. Yeah, again, strange stuff. Now the other big thing we did not look at last time is the reverb in the app, and there's a lot here. I guess we won't explore this too much today. One thing I would say about this is it is hard to turn off. So I think you can control. What can you control here? So a lot to do here. Maybe we'll do this on a separate video too. If you want to control this, a little more, a little less. I think I have this set up for not a whole lot of reverb, but there's a lot on tap there. we'll do that for a little less reverb. Okay, so let's go ahead and okay. Whoops. Oh, just okay. Well, I've neglected to say all my changes there, so we'll fix that back. Okay, I think that's all for today. I'm going to give another run at this Chicago song that I did with the warble, and we'll do it with the Mini and see how that works out. See you next time.